Indians is a statistic, 650 crore rupees are wasted in visa rejections alone. These foreign colleges require foreign board graduated students. So students from IB, students from IGCSE get an unfair advantage to our students.
To our students, as in students with
CBSE, ICSE or state board.
Udgam School for Children in Ahmedabad, which is not the very first school in Ahmedabad, it's the very first school in India to launch the Rosedale OSSD curriculum.
Your students will become a testimonial for many, many more students. I'm an IIM product.
why a university of probably in US or in London or Australia, like you mentioned, why they will focus more on a Canadian diploma.
We have 16,500 students studying in CBS. So we are not saying CBS is bad, but what we are saying is, and that's why we are trying to introduce something which can give students a second chance.
And they all said the same thing. We were not aware of something like this.
It's wonderful. I mean, and the best part, I'm very happy it's completely offline.
Udgam School is known for doing things which is, not generally accepted.
True, right?
Yeah. But then people like it, and then our competition copies us.
100% of our graduates were accepted by universities globally. 55% of our students were accepted by the top 50 global universities. So we have the track record, we have the historical record, we have the acceptance from universities globally, and they are just waiting for students in India.
If they have OSSD, तो उनको exams देने की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी.
And they were paying as much as £15,000 for a foundation year. And now the real fight starts.
Welcome to Level Up with Anona. Super excited. I mean, education का ये मेरा दूसरा podcast है, but international education का ये मेरा पहला podcast है apparently, जिसमें मैं बहुत टाइम से बात करना चाह रही थी. So I'm very happy to have Ravi sir and of course Manan sir, you on board. And बहुत ही interesting चीज जो आप पहली बार इंडिया में लेके आ रहे हैं. I mean, two icons, one from India and one from Canada, and you're joining together and coming back to India. I mean, this is huge. तो मेरे को बहुत डिटेल में जो एक पेरेंट्स के पर्से से जो क्वेश्चंस होते हैं ना, आज मैं उस तरीके से आपसे आपके इस कोलैबोरेशन के बारे में बात करूंगी कि why you particularly chose Ahmedabad to come, the first time in India, and why you collaborated and you're trying to bring such education thing here. So let's start from you, sir. मनन सर, आपसे स्टार्ट करते हैं. उद्गम आपने बहुत ऊंचाइयों पे लेके गए हैं. I've been seeing your journey since last 10 years, जब से मैं मीडिया इंडस्ट्री में हूँ, और ये एक आपका this is your next step towards taking children to another level. तो आपको first of all अगर मैं पूछूं, why do you think कि जो students हैं specifically from 9th class, from 9 to 12, why do they have to start thinking about foreign education more? What would you say?
Of late, what we have observed is parents are more and more comfortable in sending their children to foreign colleges right from undergraduate level.
From undergraduate.
Earlier, they were all okay with sending postgraduate, but now they are sending from undergraduate. The another trend what we have seen is maybe because of strict government regulation, or maybe because of certain economic concerns, we don't have good colleges in India which have admissions open, meaning there are a lot of good colleges. There is so much rush that before an average middle class gets an admission, all good colleges are taken.
Okay.
So this competition creates a need for people who can afford foreign education to send their children out of India to get good education and build a career. Now, earlier the thought was that after 12th, if they apply, they would get. But the admission guidelines of each college change time to time.
Okay.
And for that, we have to understand that these foreign colleges require foreign board graduated students. So students from IB, students from IGCSE get an unfair advantage to our students.
To our students, as in students with
CBSE, ICSE or state board. The problem is that they don't have this equivalency. So they are not taken at the right parameters because our syllabus is tuned to our college system.
इंडिया का
college system. और अब foreign colleges है तो they have tuned to the foreign curriculum. So now they have unfair advantage. So भी ये हमने देखा if our students are even thinking of foreign education, and they should think early, right from ninth, and they should think of foreign curriculum so that a they stand a chance to get into the best colleges internationally.
But there are so many questions I have to ask here. Just say you mentioned you have started from nine. matlab the you're focusing students from ninth class itself. Earlier you said ki after graduation or probably under graduation they used to think about foreign studies. So why this early? Matlab parents might think ki this is too early to think about foreign education and everything. Why do you think?
So there is a saying, early bird catches the worm. The sooner you start preparing,
Yeah.
the better you are in the competitive
Hmm.
race.
Hmm.
So if you prepare in like 12th grade, it is too late because your 12th board marks will suffer if you start preparing for foreign education along with board exams. So then you have to reverse workout. So what happens is that most foreign universities ask for transcripts from ninth grade,
Hmm.
even if you are from CBSE.
Okay.
So if you want to think of foreign, you have to think what all parameters they will be assessing while giving admission, and that is from ninth grade. So that is one part.
Hmm.
Another part is, Udgam has identified that there are two options which children can do with you know with the school. So one is CBSE and another is OSSD, which is the Canadian board. So what happens is, it's if the child is confused, because what we have seen in eighth grade, the child has no idea. We ask them which country you want to do college, they have no idea.
Hmm.
They don't know whether which line they want to go to, science, commerce, or humanities. They don't even know that they want to have, like, they want to become postgraduate, they want to become
Yeah.
graduate. They're totally blank.
True. True.
So, but unfortunately, transcripts from ninth grade is assessed. So the sooner they start preparing for it, and they may keep the options open. Child may want to take science, but later on may go up to humanities. They may keep the options open, but they have to start working towards college admissions.
At a early stage.
Early age,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But sir, moving on to you, if I ask you, coming to India, from Canada perspective, जैसे sir ने mention किया कि the students has to start very early thinking about foreign education. एक Canada के perspective से आप Indian education को इस समय क्या देखते हो? मतलब where do you see Indian education from your end?
Yeah, so firstly, I'll introduce about the company. So,
Sure.
Rosedale, we are a Canadian global high school. We are authorized by the Ontario Ministry of Education in Canada to issue high school diplomas to students overseas. We partner with over 100 schools in 17 different countries who have
Okay.
successfully launched the Rosedale Ontario Secondary School Diploma in their schools. And 70% of our graduates are accepted by global top 100 universities. Now, from these global map of 17 countries, we were missing India, and we thought we will reach out to some schools in India as well,
Yeah.
because we believe in taking the global education to international students across the globe. So we reached out to Udgam School for Children, and then the kind of bold vision they have and the kind of vision we had, it kind of met. And they have the right infrastructure. They have an amazing team. We had an opportunity to meet the entire team. So I think it was a right fit for this collaboration, and we are really excited to bring this opportunity for the students in India through Udgam School for Children in Ahmedabad, which is not the very first school in Ahmedabad. It's the very first school in India to launch the Rosedale OSSD curriculum.
How long it has been for you being in this segment?
For the company, we've been here from last 10 years.
From last 10 years. So why, matlab, how did you find all the way from Canada to Ahmedabad and Udgam School?
So due to our outreach efforts,
Yeah.
we reach out to various school owners, school principals, and again, it's kind of filtered approach. So whosoever connects with that right mindset, who would like to take this opportunity for their school community, and that's where I think Mr. Manan Choksi, we would like to commend his efforts as well and his vision, wherein he saw that opportunity. He had the vision to take this opportunity for his students.
So how do you plan? Matlab, if a parent, for example, I'll be asking today a question as a parent. So, बहुत basic से basic question I'll try to ask you. ठीक है? So, if me as a parent is coming to Udgam and see कि there's an opportunity where their student their son or their children can at a very early age they can plan and understand about foreign education. So for example, if my kid is in ninth class, right, what is the procedure? I mean, I want to start from the very start, like, because they are already have their own particular courses that are going on in the school, and then if we focus on the diploma part, how does it work together? What's the process?
Yeah, very interesting question. Something which we've been asked from many parents across the globe. So I'll tell you 3 requirements of getting an OSSD number 1. So the first requirement is that students will have to complete 30 credits.
30
and a credit
credits.
in Canada means 30 courses in India, 30 subjects. It means the same.
Okay.
So subject, course, and credit means the same. So they will have to complete 30 courses from grade 9 to 12.
Apart from the basic courses that they're having in
No, I'll
school.
come to that. That's the beauty of this curriculum. So they will have to complete 30 courses from 9 to 12. That's requirement number 1. Number 2, there is a mandatory test from the Ontario Ministry of Education. That's called OSSLT. That's Ontario Student Literacy Test. And the final requirement is that they have to complete community hours, which is 10 hours each year. Now, the beauty of this curriculum is that it can go along with CBSE or the national curriculum. So there is a policy called PLAR, Prior Learning and Assessment Recognition, due to which we are able to transfer as many as 22 subjects through the national curriculum.
Oh.
So they will continue to study CBSE or the ICSE or the national board, but they will have to do minimum 8 subjects from OSSD. And at the end of grade 12, they will have 2 qualifications together. They will have the CBSE and they will have the OSSD together. So if a student is registered with Udgam school, they are aiming to get 2 qualifications by the end of grade 12 and have much better chances to qualify for universities globally.
What do you think, how much time for example, these 8 courses will need, apart from the 22 subjects that the students are already?
Again, great question. So we don't interfere with their current academic structure. So they will continue to study their CBSE curriculum. We have no interference there. But in addition to that, they will have to study 8 courses. Again, the beauty and the flexibility of this curriculum is that the student can study it in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. So if they are studying a 4-year program, they will start as early as grade 9 and study just 1 subject.
Okay, so this is like an overall thing.
Yes.
If they do it in 12th, so they can do
Yes.
the 8 courses in 12th. Otherwise, 9 se kare, so they have
Correct.
enough time.
Correct.
Yes.
So
Oh,
if they want to
wonderful.
do 8 courses in 1 year, they can still be able to do it. But I understand because of board examinations, there is a lot of pressure with the students. So there is an option to do standalone Rosedale OSSD, do 30 courses. But if the student wants to do along with the CBSE or the ICSE curriculum, then we will distribute the 22 courses from the national curriculum and they'll have to study 8 courses from OSSD.
Wonderful.
If they're an early entrant, they start grade 9 by 1 course. If they want to start in grade 10, they will do 2 plus 3 plus 4. If they start in grade 11, it's 4 plus 4. And in grade 12 would be 8 courses.
Oh, but I think, what do you think? How has the response been? It's been a week, like you have launched.
Yeah.
How has the response been so far?
So there has been like a lot of curiosity on how they can go about it. The fortunate part is that people are open to this idea, but the funny, what I would say, the funny thing is that it will take a while for people to take the step, because it is the first time, and in India they don't want to take chances with their child's career. So we have structured it in a way that they don't lose their CBSE certification. They don't have any pressure. It will be done over public holidays and vacation, and it will not be on the same time where the Indian tests are.
But why are they scared? What are the chances? What can go wrong? Matlab, I think this is just an
So the
addition,
first,
na?
yeah, but first thing is that they will be overburdened by like 2
Overburdened.
boards. So
Got
that
it.
is the first major problem. And secondly, also what people feel that from 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, they have a lot of tuition classes.
True.
So for CBSE, they have a lot of tuition classes, and there is so much confusion right now that if you are not clear as to you want in India or in US or in for any foreign colleges, which entrance test to sit, so it's such a confusion out there that the parents after 10th get into so much stress. Does my child want to do lawyer? Then there is a CLAT. Do you want to become an MBA from IIM? There is IPMAT.
True.
There are so many options. Now, what happens is that when you have so many options, you get paralyzed.
Very true.
And to make matters worse, we have added one more option. So So what to address this issue, what we have is from ninth, there is a very it's a very what we say low cost entry, both in time in terms of time invested, because it's just one credit in ninth, and the fees would be less based on the number of credits they have to pass for the relevant year. So no matter which path you take in 12th grade, you have to have 4 credits.
One credit in 9 means one course you're
One
saying.
course,
One
yeah.
course you're in 9.
So each credit takes about 110 hours of teaching. So you have to just give 110 hours in ninth grade.
तो gradually कैसे increase होता है? Like you mentioned 8 है, तो
हाँ.
one is in 9th, then
So it again offers a flexibility. If they start in grade 9, then they will have to study another one subject in grade 10, followed by 3 subjects in grade 11 and 4 subjects in grade 12.
but they have the flexibility. For example, if somebody wants to probably do 2 subjects in 9th or
Yes.
10th,
Yes.
the students and
So
the parents.
there is a flexibility to divide the 5 courses between 9, 10, 11. But the 4 core subjects, which depends on the stream, whether they're coming from engineering, humanities, science, those core subjects will be taught in grade 12 only. But the remaining 5 subjects can be taught between 3 years, which is 9, 10, 11.
But what are these courses? मतलब these subjects and courses, like different students from different streams
Yeah.
choose to join, alongside. So what are those 8 subjects that they get to, choose?
Yeah, so just like any other curriculum provider, be that be national or international curriculum, we also offer all sorts of streams. So you have engineering, humanities, business, science. So depending on the choice of the student in terms of stream and which university, which country they would like to get into, we counsel the student that if you want to study, say, physics, chemistry, biology, then you should take this stream. If you want to come into engineering, then you probably will have to study mathematics. So depending on the choice of the student, we counsel the student accordingly.
As in the interest of the students.
Yes.
And what the country also prefers.
Correct,
So
correct.
according to that, you suggest that you should take these subjects so
Yes,
that you can
yes.
get the scholarship.
Yeah, and like you mentioned about the country, I'm glad that you pointed out. So although it is a Canadian curriculum, but it does not take them just to universities in Canada.
Yeah.
So I'm a resident in Canada. I will have my own biasness towards Canada, but we have no influence towards that. So students have absolutely, they're free to make a choice to progress to any university or any country of their choice. So what we do is we bring all the universities together on one platform. So we do provide the curriculum. We also make sure that the students progress to universities worldwide. So that's also our responsibility. Yeah, we work with the top 100 global universities, be that in Canada, the UK, the US, Australia, Germany. Germany is picking up very well of late. Or if students are interested in Southeast Asian countries like Hong Kong and Singapore, and I can name some of the universities like NUS Singapore, University of Toronto, Imperial College London. And if you look at the QS ranking of these universities, they're like top tier universities. And we are facilitators of bringing that eligibility criteria to our partner schools, to the student community, so that they don't have to juggle between multiple systems and they have one-stop shop in Rosedale to get all that information.
Amazing. But again, my question is, so it's a Canadian diploma, right? So the parents, and I think because this question came into my head, so I think it will come to many more head, ki it's a Canadian diploma. So how will, why university of probably in US or in London or Australia, like
Yeah.
you mentioned, why they will focus more on a Canadian diploma?
Yeah, very good question. So there is an assessment body called PISA, Program for International Students Assessment. They do a triennial study which takes place every 3 years. So they have ranked OSSD in their latest assessments in 2022, if I'm not wrong. They have ranked OSSD as number 2, particularly in reading.
It's a
But
global.
It's a global recognition.
Okay.
So based on the countries who are participating in that assessment, so we are ranked number 2, and anyways, we are always ranked in the top 5. So it is a globally recognized curriculum. OSSD is accepted all across the globe. So of course, if they want to come to Canada, and that's another huge advantage the students have in India. So if they register with Udgam School for Children, they are considered as Ontario students.
Wow, lovely. Without
So
even
although
visiting.
they are in India, they are studying the same course in India, but they're still treated as Ontario students, which is a huge advantage. They're also eligible for national scholarships in Canada, along with the international scholarships, because they are treated as Ontario students. So when the universities will look at them, they look at the OSSD Diploma. They don't look at which country they are coming from, although they will have a full clarity, where did they study, but they are only looking at the OSSD Diploma because they have a full trust on the curriculum, they have a full trust on our verification checks, and hence they are able to give them the opportunity to study with them.
Okay, but a stupid question again. Isme, when you said you are you are accepted there, what do you mean by accepted? As in terms like, how does that work?
Yeah.
You have a good repo, you have all the certificates that a college needs, for looking for a student. How does
Yeah.
that work?
So we also assist our partner schools and the students as well in transcript management. So what we do is we have a central portal. That's where we will send all the transcripts and the documentation to the
Transcripts is?
universities, the mark sheets. The mark sheets, we will send it to the universities. So we are very well updated with all the latest requirements, eligibility requirements of these universities, and then we pass on that information to the counseling team of the partner school, who in turn pass on that information to the students. So we have a very active relationship with the top 100 QS ranking universities. Further, we also have a flagship event. It's a virtual event called Global Student Success Forum that happens once in a year. This year it's on October 28. So it's a 2-day event. Day one is a public conference sharing best practices. We invite people from government sector. We invite universities, and day two is a recruitment fair. That's where universities will have virtual booths. Last year alone, we had 300,000 people attending virtually from 31 countries. So that again is a support for our partner schools, support for our student community across the globe. They're able to interact with the universities of Toronto, University of Waterloo, Wilfrid Laurier, and they will get to know them well because they are in one-on-one conversations. And on day two, universities are also able to give them offer letters. So on an average, a lot of our students have received 4 offer letters. So they have an option to select which university, which country they would like to get into.
Wow, and that's at a very early age.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will actually happen after the completion of grade 12.
हाँ.
They are starting
हाँ,
grade 9,
of course,
but then
course.
that will happen after grade 12.
वो जो एक कॉलेज में वो प्री प्लेसमेंट का जो एक
Yeah.
you have that satisfaction.
Yeah.
I think this is brilliant because like Manan sir mentioned, it's very confusing for the parents and for the students also. From 9 to 10th, पहले 10th में question आता है which stream to choose, and then 12th में question आता है which college to choose. At least they will have 4 good years, or probably whenever they
Yes.
choose to start to understand how the outer world is working. You mentioned about the fees also. Can you just highlight a bit on what the fee structure is from 9 to 10 to 11? How does that work?
So as of now, the fees that we have declared for the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th combined package is 5 lakh 15,000 plus GST. So, but however, it is divided in 2 amounts. One amount which goes to the Rosedale, which is in Canadian dollars. So the amount will vary based on the exchange rate, and the other amount which is paid to Udgam, which is in Indian rupees. So, however, this fees, like I said, it is dependent on which year you enter. So, if you enter in 9th grade, for 9th and 10th, you have to pay a very nominal amount. But for 11th grade, if you enter, then you have to pay like half of the amount of half of the total amount in 11th and half of the total amount in 12th. The total amount remains the same irrespective when you enter the course.
It just gets in installments, you're saying?
Yes, it divides.
But you mentioned Indian rupees alag and dollars alag. So the parent has to do that, or they has to pay just in Indian rupees and then it will happen? How does that work?
Ideally, the parent have to pay in dollars.
Okay.
The reason is that it depends on the currency fluctuations. Because it's a 4-year commitment. We do not know how it is going to increase or decrease.
Makes sense. So how does, it's very interesting first of all, and I'm very happy that you both of you brought that in India. But next step, if we take the next step, suppose a parent, a children plan ki, I want to get into it and I want to start from 9th class itself. जो एक curriculum की आपने बात की कि their course is going on. So how do you teach, what's the schedule of a student looks like? Matlab, how does that works?
Yeah, so for sure it's going to be an added workload. They will have to study 2 curriculums together. So this is meant for those students who are looking to study overseas, clearly.
Yeah.
And God forbid, if situation changes after the completion of grade 12, they can fall back to CBSE curriculum to apply to universities in India. So if they want to apply globally, they can use the OSSD curriculum.
They have both the degrees.
They have both the
Yeah,
degrees.
yeah. So उसमें the question is this only कि schedule क्या रहता है? For example, एक बच्चा है तो उसका you will be giving them कि you have such classes on such days and whatever.
So we offer that flexibility to the partner schools, so they would be able to offer like you mentioned that we would be able to offer during the weekends or during holidays or during evenings, because you are only doing one course, 110 hours in a span of 1 year. So it could finish in 3 months' time, 6 months' time. In terms of academic rigor, it's distributed between 3 to 4 years. So rather than doing 8 courses in 1 year, we have distributed the academic rigor, we have distributed the investment as well. And there is a progressive evaluation in this curriculum. So unlike many other standardized exams with other curriculum providers, they have a very high stake examination right in the end. That's a 100% examination after the completion of your course. In our case, what we call is 70-30, 70% progressive evaluation throughout the year. So every course will have 11 to 15 different assessments. It could be a quiz, it could be a presentation, case studies. It's very interactive and engagement. Our classes are very noisy. And then 30% is for the final examination. So by the time they reach their final examination, they are already done with 70%. So we exactly know at every step of the way, after 20%, 40%, where do they stand. And it all allows for the students to have a much better successful rate and a higher acceptance by the universities. So that's where it's all going to. We believe that it should be a skill-based learning, focusing on critical thinking.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Critical thinking, application, communication. However, we would certainly be focusing on the knowledge part, acquiring the knowledge, but a lot of focus or emphasis is also on the critical thinking part, skill-based learning, and the communication and application.
How do you bring that? But what do you do? If you can enlighten on the course part itself, what are the different things that you have included?
Yeah, as I mentioned about the engagement activities, the assessments, which happens throughout the year through infographics, because it's not just a handwritten examination. This is not a one-stop, one examination right in the end. So we are able to bring that participation, involvement from the students, and they sit throughout the year for the examination, and they get a much more holistic understanding of the entire course, which is well accepted globally.
But ये एक question मैं आप दोनों से पूछती हूँ. One question that I want to ask, from your perspective and from your perspective, why a student should focus on, what is the benefit? जो benefit part अगर हम देखें कि if a student is choosing to go out abroad for higher education, why? What should be the benefit of it?
Yeah. Firstly, I will say before they move to foreign as well. Firstly, here they are considered, as I mentioned, they are Ontario students, so they are getting 2 qualifications, number 1. 2, they are getting huge scholarships facilitated by us. So they will not get to know about these scholarships. Last year alone, we offered 6 million Canadian dollars in scholarship. Again, we are facilitating that.
How many students were there approx?
So we had 1,328 graduates.
All
some of our students received a full tuition waiver. There is a student in Myanmar who received a full tuition waiver along with the 50,000 pounds of living allowance. There are so many students who received 100,000 Canadian dollars. So we are facilitator of those scholarships, about 6 million Canadian dollars just last year. So they get that opportunity to get an exposure to those scholarships. Along with that, I'm born and brought up in India. I'm a resident in Canada, but I know the education system here. So a lot of these students would actually go for foundation years after the completion of grade 12 because they are not able to qualify to universities, and hence they fall back to foundation years. As an example, they also go for an A-level. A-level is 2 years after O-levels, right? So when they do a Rosedale OSSD, they just have to do 1 year of Rosedale OSSD, and they save 1 year as compared to the A-levels. So A-levels is 2 years, Rosedale OSSD is just 1 year, grade 11, and just after grade 11 at the age of 17, they progress to universities globally, which is a huge advantage. Another advantage, as compared to the foundation year providers, there is no need for foundation years. They get a direct entry into year 1, into the university after the completion of grade 12. Countries like Germany, there is Studienkolleg, which is required. When they complete Rosedale OSSD successfully in collaboration with Udgam School for Children, they get accepted to year one with some of the public universities in Germany, along with some other universities across the globe. Yes, please.
Yeah, there are a lot of advantages. So, firstly, the biggest problem that students face is they don't get visa. So,
I wanted to ask that, yeah.
so the point is that how do you get visa is you get into a good college, because there are a lot of private universities where students go not to study but to do a part-time job and settle there through unfair means. So government has cracked down upon those colleges in Canada, across the world actually, and they have stopped giving visas to students who have got admissions in what we say shady colleges. Okay, so with this certification, you get into good colleges. That's the number one benefit. Another point is that if you just imagine there are like 100 students applying for one seat, and you have to differentiate your application amongst those 100 people. Imagine that they are from your school or from your city. If you have one additional diploma of another country, it shows how much sorted you are, how much focused you are for studying in the foreign country. So when you are studying since ninth or say in 11th, you're studying for Canadian diploma, and then you apply to US or to Germany. The college would say that okay, you have scored this much in CBSE and you have scored this much in OSSD. That means you're doubly verified that you are an intelligent person, and you have done so much hard work, which also shows that you are serious. They like such serious differentiated students. Why? It will give them good class heterogeneity, apart from that, there is always in education we have a knowledge build up. So while we talk till now about eligibility, acceptance, and also how we are able to handhold them. But what we are missing, the crux is the knowledge. But of course, they will get the knowledge from a very well reputed board, okay, in subjects which usually students don't get in India. So this knowledge, it doesn't go to waste. At a foundation year of life, this knowledge can be helpful anytime in your life. So where we are talking about 21st century skills like critical thinking, it doesn't go waste.
Of course. I
So
think it's the
that
need of
is,
the hour.
yeah, that is something which our boards are not, they are trying to adapt to, but it's still a long way.
Yeah.
So while we talk about that CBSE is changing, but CBSE themselves have accepted that till now they have changed only 30% of the questions in the board exams for higher order thinking skills. They have accepted it, and every year they are trying to increase. But the problem is that teachers, textbooks, exam format is not conducive for them to change over to what NEP, which is government declared, envisages. So NEP envisages that we will give you moon and the stars, but then they realize that teachers are not trained for that. Then they realize that for 10 years we taught children in a particular way, suddenly we cannot change 11th and 12th syllabus, and they will suddenly change.
Very practical.
So it's a what, as Udgam school we introduced CBSE in Gujarat. We were not the first school to be CBSE, but we were one of the first schools to change from Gujarat board to central board. We are die-hard CBSE fan. As far as my company is concerned, Udgam Consultancy, we have 16,500 students studying in CBSE. So we are not saying CBSE is bad, but what we are saying is it's not enough if you want to go to foreign. And that's why we are trying to introduce something which can give students a second chance for foreign education.
And I think सोचा जाए तो this happens कि even after 12, like you mentioned कि 9th में probably का पढ़ने का pressure बढ़ जाएगा and everything, but 12th के बाद भी वही होता है, same amount of money goes in the in terms of जो भी next exam की तैयारी करनी है या next preparation करनी है and all of that, and moving from here and there. So it's better to prepare a student. You want to say something?
I mean, the parents and the students will have to see how much are they getting after
Yeah.
the completion of grade 12 in comparison to how much rigor or how much they will have to study. It's just 9 courses which are distributed in about 4 years.
Yeah.
And I think we should also congratulate you, or I think appreciate you as well, because you are taking this brand awareness to your audience, because it just requires brand awareness to the audience. We had very interesting conversations with parents in the launch event, and even yesterday we spoke to them,
Yeah.
and they all said the same thing. We were not aware of something like this.
Even when
Had it been there earlier, they would have probably introduced this to their children, which have already passed now they are probably in grade 12. So it needs a lot of brand awareness through channels like you, through schools like Udgam School for Children, wherein students can get this opportunity, which is there, which exists, but people don't know about
people
it.
don't know about it. That's
Yes.
the biggest question.
Yes.
What were the most basic questions, like repeated questions that you were getting, from all those parents?
It was very difficult for them to absorb if something like this actually exists.
Oh, and
So
if this is doable,
there's a lot of support from the High Commission of Canada as well for us. In fact, there was a representative from High Commission of Canada also who attended the event yesterday to add that credibility, because we are sitting there all the way in Canada. So to add that credibility part, we have the local partner school and the High Commission of Canada working together. So the questions were very basic and understandable, that how can my student get to the university in Canada? If the student wants to complete few credits here and few credits in Canada, will that be possible? Which is also a possibility. There was a student who has already applied for a permanent residentship. Now they said they will study few subjects with Udgam, and then perhaps they will move to Canada, which is also possible, because we are going to still consider them as OSSD credits, and they will be able to transfer to a high school in Canada. So these were the very basic questions they
but
asked.
there's that kind of flexibility also.
Oh, yes.
But what's the coordination process? I mean, for example, Udgam school will be there and your curriculum will be there. A parent or a student whom they would be needing to coordinate with in terms of the courses and in terms of anything. How does the portal and everything works that way?
Yeah, so there is an LMS, Learning Management System.
Okay.
So the students and the teachers will have an LMS account. Even the head of school will have an LMS account. So in a way, students will be able to interact with two types of teachers, one the local teachers and one teachers in Canada. So we are not going to teach the curriculum.
Okay.
We are the facilitators. We are
Okay.
providing all the content, all the training, all the materials to the local staff, local teachers in India.
Oh, okay.
And then they would be able to teach the course face to face exactly the same way they're teaching a national curriculum. It is not
it
an
won't be
online course.
That's
It
the
is
most
not
important
an
thing.
online course. It is
Oh.
not one, we don't believe in online course method, and two, the universities we work with, they don't accept online studies. So it is a face-to-face interaction, similar to how they are already teaching a CBSE curriculum. It would be exactly like that. But the students should not worry, because we are not going to teach their teachers how to teach, because they are experts in
Of
that.
course.
A science teacher, their science teacher will be able to teach our science curriculum as well. But we are going to tell them a different methodology, different approach, which we follow in OSSD. So the students here could be rest assured that if they are being taught by teachers at Udgam School for Children, there is absolutely no difference, again, in terms of recognition of the OSSD diploma. They are safe in that manner. Students will have an LMS account, so if needed, they will have an opportunity to speak to our teachers if required. The grading part is again done by our Ontario certified teachers. So once the course delivery is done by the local teachers, the grading will be done by our Ontario certified teachers in Canada, to ensure that it's consistent across the globe. There is no biasness, and it also compliance requirement by the Ministry of Education. So Ontario Ministry of Education inspects us for all our partner schools once in every 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So there is a huge responsibility from the ministry side, which we have to tackle. And there is another responsibility from the university side, that we have to keep ourselves up to date all the time.
Manan sir, you will be taking more teachers for it, or how are you going to plan? Yeah.
We have already shortlisted teachers, because we cannot start the program unless our teachers are trained. So we are starting the training with them, so it completes before the course initiates. And yes, but the best part is we need part-time teachers. So they can be our own teachers who can teach part-time, they can be teachers who are retired or teachers who have left the school and unable to do the school hours, but they are very good teachers, so we are going to use those kind of candidates.
Wow, but it's wonderful. I mean, and the best part, मतलब I'm very happy कि it's completely offline. I mean,
Yes.
वो एक चीज आ जाती है कभी ना कभी लोगों के दिमाग में कि online courses and we'll probably directly do with the university or anything. But this changes everything. मतलब
Yes.
this is a very very good part. You train them for example, now they have completed the course and everything. Students have completed the course. What's the next step, like applying to colleges? You'll be training them for all the planning in terms of जो पूरा portfolio एक students को बनाना होता है from essay writing and everything. How does that part? You work there also?
Yeah, so we don't directly interact with students, although we can
Yeah.
if a student wants, but we provide all the information to the local counselor.
हाँ,
So
वो
the
got it.
local counselor is going to coordinate with the students. So whatever are the questions, they can always reach out to the local counselor. In case they don't have any answers, they can always reach out to us.
Yeah.
So we are very prompt. It's a tried and tested formula. We respond to them within 24 hours, unless it's not a weekend.
Yeah.
But then we reply to them in 24 hours, and they would know exactly what the university requirements are. We would know what is the choice of the university, what's the choice of the country from the students. So it's going to be a collaboration from both sides.
But it's wonderful. Matlab, they'll have the sense of comfort of their own teachers and in their own method, and plus they're getting everything that they need to move outside and learn. How excited so you are about this and upcoming program? What do you think?
Udgam School is known for doing things which is not generally accepted in the
True,
first
very
year,
true.
but then people like it, and then our competition copies us.
True.
So we like challenges, and we like fundamentally strong. We like things which make children fundamentally strong. It's not a novelty factor or a superficial packaging that we are changing. We are changing something from within. So when we are talking about, there are certain schools who say that this is how you create your resume and then you will get into the colleges. So they will get fake certificates, they will get fake evidences, everything would be staged for the child to get admission. Now, this is a problem in India where that's why colleges across the world are blacklisting schools. They are rejecting. We have the highest student visa rejection rate. Indians have like so much visa rejection that Indians is a statistic, 650 crore rupees are wasted in visa rejections alone in India every year. So if you look at it, that people have realized that making things not what is real, like making up things which is not meant, is very doesn't depict the true and correct picture, may get you a college admission, may get you a visa, but it is not good for your career as a whole. So what I suggest, that's what Udgam believes in, that doing things genuinely, be it CBSE, be it foreign education, or for that matter even extracurricular activities. When we do something, we do it thoroughly, do it with some purpose, do it with some benchmarks, or we don't do it. So we are here to associate with OSSD, and not because we wanted to be the first in India, because we found out their process, their systems, which can be easily implemented here and which will genuinely benefit the students. That's why we went ahead with it.
But इसमें एक बहुत बड़ा question अगर मैं आपसे पूछता हूँ sir, parents when they are spending so much, when they are seeing their children are working hard for it, they will expect 100% result. They'll come to you कि अब मैंने 12th तक किया है तो I want अब आपको मेरे को एक अच्छा placement किसी अच्छा college में दिलाना ही दिलाना है. This is your responsibility. What would you say on that?
They have 100% placement
Yes.
of each and every child that they have taught
Yeah.
till now.
Yes. So as of last year, 100% of our graduates were accepted by universities globally. 55% of our students were accepted by the top 50 global universities. So we have the track record, we have the historical record, we have the acceptance from universities globally, and they are just waiting for students in India.
Wow, so nice.
The best part is it's like progressive evaluation.
Huh.
So parents would know beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, in Indian format of examinations, parents get two root shocks. One is at the time of 10th result and another is at the time of 12th result.
So true.
And eventually, when they come to know, it is too late. So here, what happens is that when 70% of the marks are given before the exams, even before the exams, the parent has a what we say opportunity to improve the child's performance. Okay, so as in when the results come, the child. So when I would say you know how the entrance exams work, if you prepare for 2 years of JEE, you fail or you do not get as many marks that you get admission into your preferred college. The only choice is 1 year later you sit again. So that feedback takes away precious life, a precious time of a life of a child. Okay, that's one thing. Another important thing is what we have realized is that it is not about marks alone. When a child when a child applies for a college, each college has a different methodology of evaluating applications. Okay. Another problem is that this methodology changes every year. So it is, if you have applied this year in this college, if your friend applies next year in the same college, in the same course, it's not necessary that with the same marks the child will get admission. It's a very complex thing. What I have understood is, so that's the power of differentiation. What I've understood is the number of colleges students apply to in foreign colleges have increased. So earlier people were applying to 4 colleges, 5 colleges at a time because college application is costly. Okay, they apply to 5 colleges. Now an average student applies to 12 colleges. Okay, so now the number of colleges they have to apply has increased. Another problem is that application the colleges get have obviously increased.
Yeah.
Because everybody, there are more number of students, each person applying to more number of colleges, the total number of applications they have to process have increased.
Yeah.
Now, cost of processing the application from the college side has increased because their manpower has increased, and now they are not relying on a single examination mark for processing the application. So the criteria of application processing is such that it takes more time per application.
तो इसमें जनरली रिजेक्शंस भी बहुत रहते होंगे स्टूडेंट्स को.
So the time a evaluator spends on one application has reduced. So you apply to my college, I have 100 other students to check. So now they are giving advanced admissions. Now they are not waiting for 12th standard marks. They give provisional admissions. They are not considering SAT marks. Most colleges have made SAT optional, which SAT is basically entrance exam for US colleges. That has become optional. Okay, because they don't wait for SAT results, and SAT does not depict the true potential of the child. That is what they have told. So if you see, the foreign college admission process has become complex by all means. If you're able to get into a good college, you should be graduated just because you have got into it. That itself is so tedious and so complex process. Here, what we are trying to do, where this comes into picture, is that we are trying to make your application validated by CBSE, by OSSD. So the person who takes your application feels confident that 2 independent country boards see this child is intelligent. So we have less risk to admit this child. So this is like if you really get into foreign education, then you will understand that it is a very serious business. As in just to get into the college.
But इसमें you mentioned तो अब students को फिर जो like you mentioned about, you talked about SAT, ऐसे जो भी जिस कंट्री के जो भी एग्जाम्स होते होंगे, if they have OSSD तो उनको वो एग्जाम्स देने की जरूरत नहीं होगी.
So we are able to provide the historical record. There were so many universities, the top universities across the globe, who did not ask for SAT or ACT in the
Acha.
US. For countries like Singapore and Hong Kong, they give a waiver of IELTS and TOEFL. But the immigration policies, they are so dynamic in nature these days. The eligibility requirement can change every year. So we will have to keep ourselves updated. So we cannot guarantee that. But we do say that historically, a lot of our universities have waived the ACT or SAT requirements for universities in the US, the UK, but that shouldn't be taken as a guarantee, as an assurance from the partner school. And anyways, if they do this OSSD program, I will have no doubts that they would be able to clear ACT, SAT anyways. So they will not have the fear to appear for that or IELTS or TOEFL. But that said, they get this advantage as well, that they will get a waiver from some universities.
Got it. And can you just give me a comparison, as in, like Saur mentioned, for example, if somebody has spent 5,50,000 and they have gotten the diploma, if not, because it's very complex, the situation hai, it's very complex out there to get into a foreign education and in colleges. So, somebody who doesn't have an OSSD diploma, what amount of cost does they generally are paying, and the, like you mentioned about a comparison, if that's possible, so that people can understand ki this you have to go through any which ways.
So I'll give you a generic example.
Yes,
so when I was in higher education, I was representing some institutions in higher education as well. So a lot of students from India, and I was recruiting hundreds of students for a foundation year after grade 12. So because they were not eligible to qualify for year 1, and they were paying as much as £15,000 for a foundation year. Here, they are not required to pay that £15,000. They don't have to travel to the UK, as an example, or to the US or any other country. They are in the comfort of their home. They are paying much lesser, and they are getting an opportunity to directly apply to year 1. So that's a huge advantage, not going to that country, the accommodation cost, the living cost, staying away from family, all that is colossal in its own way. So they are getting this opportunity right in their home country, in their own school, in this existing infrastructure, at a much cheaper price.
And what's your role after, once a kid gets a good college? What's your role after that?
So after undergrad, so our responsibility is till undergrad, but they have built that skill already, that they will have much better chances for masters as well, because they are getting into these public universities of the world. So they will have certainly much better opportunity to get into masters as well, perhaps come back to India and add to the economy of the country. So all those options would be available for students. But in terms of our responsibility or role, so we take care of high school curriculum and then progress them to the universities.
And you mentioned about scholarship, that depends students to students, but what do you expect, like coming to India? What do you think, what's the number going to be?
So we provide the platform, we provide the information that this is the, for instance, just 10 days ago, University of Edinburgh offered Rosedale OSSD exclusive scholarship of £15,000. So that's only for our graduates. So they are going to share that eligibility criteria. We will pass it on to the school and in turn to the students, and they will have an opportunity to apply for that scholarship. But that information, to get that information, is complex for students directly, and we get that information right where they are studying.
What do you have to say? Yes.
For scholarship, what I would like to say is that it lot depends on the student performance. So how we give the structure, we give the we give the examination, we give the subjects, we give the eligibility. But if a child performs well, then they will be eligible. So then they will be awarded the scholarship. And it is also about various courses, various amounts. So for a competitive course where everybody would like to apply, the chances of getting scholarship is less. But in a course which nobody wants to go, there are chances of getting scholarship is higher.
Comparatively.
Yeah, in terms of cost only, I mean, as I mentioned about the A level, so a lot of the students would be doing an O level. So this is for those students who are on the verge of completing grade 10. So they would be considering whether I should go to a national curriculum, CBSE, or should go to an international curriculum. So all the international curriculums are great. But the whole point here is we are giving them an option to select between various curriculum. So whether they would like to go, for instance, IB or the A levels or at CBSE or OSSD, now it's an option of the student. But in comparison to A levels, that's a 2-year program. That's a 2-year investment, both in terms of time, money, resources. In comparison, they do an OSSD 1 year and straight away directly apply for universities globally. Again, in terms of investment, it's a saving.
So the problem is that parents want children to succeed in life, but for success they need to provide exposure. Now, if you have to provide exposure, you have to send your children to out of their comfort zone. So right now, what as Indians, what we believe is that if you want your child to settle down in US, you once एक बार बच्चा गया वापस नहीं आएगा. So that is the whole mindset that if your child leaves the country, they will find that country to be good. They will never come back. But unfortunately, a lot of parents, because of this mindset, they keep children protected. They keep in their comfort zone. So that's the reason why children who do not get out of their parents' shadow would anyways not be prepared for the real world. So that is something what parents have to look at from that mindset, is that if you want your child to develop and face the competitive world, you have to send. I'm not promoting for an education. What I'm promoting is that the child has to go to the best college he can, be it in India, be it outside India, because whatever the potential of the child is will grow tenfold when he would go to the best education institute he is eligible to.
I agree to this point because I myself a graduate of Sri Ram College of Commerce, SRCC Delhi, and the best part whenever I talk about education is this only कि हाँ जो तुमने subjects पढ़े हैं is one thing, but when you go out, this is something that you learn out of it. जो एक personality, जैसे आपने critical thinking की बात की, this is something that throughout, I think 10 years, 20 years down the line, आपको काम आता है life में. So I think that's very important.
And I'm sure your classmates would be doing great.
Yeah.
So you not only get into a good college, you get into a good certificate, but you get into good company,
Circle,
which
exactly,
is
very
so
important.
motivational. So there is a saying that you are an average of the 6 people you hang out with. So if you have good company, if you're in a class full of intellectuals, your intellectual ability will improve. So that's where there are so many things what has shaped the future of mankind, and what we have seen is that these contributions from really, I would say, really great professors and the conducive environment. So if you look at the partners of Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, or most of the startups, they are usually their classmates. So if you cannot be Mark Zuckerberg, you can be his friend, and you can still become a billionaire.
So true, something to think about. But ये इसमें मुझे अभी आप बता रहे थे तो मुझे याद है कि why अब जैसे you have taken it in Ahmedabad, there must be students, there might be students from probably Bombay or any other city who wants to join this course.
Yeah.
What will they do then?
Somebody has to take the first step.
Do you have plans to set up more schools, collaborate with more schools?
Certainly. So in various countries, we have multiple schools.
In different cities.
And we recently did a workshop in various cities. So last 10 days, we were doing workshops in Chennai, Bangalore, Mumbai, and Delhi. So again, bringing that brand awareness. So if there are some forward-thinking schools like Udgam School, they would be the first entrance. And
but
they will
right now, there's no offline option, as an online option.
No, there's no online options. There's no online options. I can also mention there would be some online OSSD providers. They probably will give the same OSSD diploma, but the acceptance rate of those online OSSD providers or the diploma will not be the same. So they might claim that you get the same diploma, but the acceptance will not be same. It is not sustainable. They might be able to manipulate in such a way that yes, they did it offline, but once they get to know about it, it's a long-term problem. because
people
you're
have
spoiling
to-
the relationship with the university once they get to know about it, because they don't accept online studies in general.
people have to remember Rosedale Global School.
Yes. Yes.
And एक चीज और बस questions आ रहे हैं,
Yes,
you know,
certainly.
अगर somebody who has chosen this course and for whatever reason something happens and they have to, you know, stop in between or something like that. So do we have any provision? Because this is something that I think parents will ask,
Yeah,
which
they
comes to
have
my
asked.
mind. What do you
So
have?
it's like for those students, I would say, firstly, even if they are reluctant whether they should go or they should not go for this course, try with 1 year programming, sorry, the 4-year programming and starting with grade 9. If you don't like it, you drop it. I have not seen any student who dropped the curriculum because it's so exciting. It's very fun learning and still globally recognized. If you don't like it, you have an option to drop it. So you will eventually not get the diploma. For you to get the diploma, you have to complete grade 12. You will get the transcripts, report cards, but that's not of a lot of value. If you don't like it, you can drop the course.
But there is no provision of refunds or anything of that sort, right? I'm assuming.
So, like I said, in the first year, the fees is very less. In the second year, it is even still very less. In the third year, you really pay some substantial amount, but still it is not the full amount. So only in the last year you pay. By that time, you have to make your mind up.
तो year on year wise उनको पर certificates और जो भी है वो मिलता रहेगा, like to add on to their.
The credits they will get.
Yes, the credits they will get the report cards, they will get the transcripts, but the diploma, the final certificate, they will
course.
get only after the completion of grade 12.
Okay.
So at times, due to medical reason, they may want to take a drop year and then they restart again, which is also possible because the credits they will get.
And आपने जब वैसे fun learning की बात की, you mentioned about different. You won't be changing the style teachers teaches in India, but you will be adding some fun learn
They
part.
will be
to it.
changing the style. But they
You will be.
But methodology of teaching will change.
Hmm.
The content will be the same.
Content will be the
The
same.
same.
The
So-
style of teaching will differ.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So it will, because the style incorporates assessment in the learning. So along with learning, the assessment is there. So for example, right now, if we ask the child to do a homework, they will do the homework and then we will check it and they will put it aside. Here, if they do the homework, they will get a grade, and that grade will eventually culminate into something that is called 70% of formative assessment. So they have to seriously do the homework. You just not do it for the sake of it.
Yeah, and something we also call it a transformative approach to learning. So we still have to follow the compliance by the Ontario Ministry of Education. They are the ones who have provided us the guidelines, and we have taken that to the next step. So when you talk about the fun learning, there's a concept called, as an example, fishbowl learning. So in fishbowl learning, what will happen is, so there would be different groups. So we will give an activity to one group. There will be lots of interaction. That's the point of having that group engagement. And other groups will be observing them. Who is doing what? Who is talking? Who is creating notes? Who is searching on Google? So those sort of activities, just to make them engaging. There would be lots of shuffling with the existing sitting pattern, because this is not a seminar hall teaching. It's a group activity learning.
Yeah. So I can say कि जो 30 subjects, like you mentioned, 30 credits, which are required for any मतलब which will complete the essence of getting into an international college, that you will cover. And the main point is this, कि the way you will cover it will prepare the student to, you know, stand there in the international college or in an international education. That's the whole idea. Preparing a whole personality, a student personality to fight in the outer world. That's the whole idea.
That's the byproduct.
That's the byproduct. Perfect.
And eventually, I think it's all going to boil down to, I mean, I'm a product of an IIM, and when I was on the verge of entering the school, so our professor said, you have cracked CAT, and now the real fight starts.
So true.
With the students as well. So they are able to bring this opportunity for the students in Ahmedabad. They have brought all the resources to them. Every student is talented, but do they have the right attitude is what will make the entire story.
Whenever
do they have the right attitude?
Yeah. Whenever I speak to somebody who has graduated from colleges like I am, this is one thing that they mention, कि they don't prepare you for some theoretical knowledge. They prepare you. जो वो grilling होती है ना, to get the assignment done in 12 hours, the great assignment done. That's basically preparing you for every situation possible in the outside, in the corporate world and everything. And I think that's a wonderful thing that you're helping students from grade 9 itself, so that जब ये IIM or, you know, but colleges की बात है, so they are already well prepared and they don't, get
Yes.
pressurized and everything, which whatever is happening when we see the education and
Yes.
everything. But thank you so much. I mean, anything of any question that even, anyone who is watching have, they can just comment or probably reach out to Manan sir. I'll just put on the numbers and everything here on our description. But thank you so Ravi sir, and thank you so much Manan sir. And all the best to you guys. बहुत अच्छा initiative आप इंडिया में लेके आए हो. मैं जितना awareness create कर सकती हूँ and जितना जो हमारा एक part है to tell people that this is also one option that you have with yourself right now in India. I think I'll try my best, but thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having us here, and you're going to be a contributor in the success story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.